Conditioned as a child, he knew nothing but fear. His enemy, his friend, his puppeteer. Insecurity was his weakness, obsession was his cure. God was becoming more and more and more obscure. But he's only a child. Why would you damage his mind? Seems like our future is negatively confined. You say you're a Christian, you hypocrite, you liar. Instead of living a lukewarm life, why don't you just retire? His school was his prison. His house was his hell. His mind was so abused that the words that came out of his mouth he wouldn't expel. The teaching echoing in his ears. Words piercing his soul. This elementary age child's life already out of control. Inner pain transformed to anger, but little did anyone know this anger was his release. That's called reaping what you sow. As he grew, so did his resentment. He knew that God existed, but the world was his contentment. His life turned for the worse when he customized his avatar. Alcohol, drugs, women, music, and partying was his CPR. His joy was superficial, but he didn't care. One that was willing to accept him was answered his artificial prayer. Joy resulted in consequences, and consequences resulted in depression, all kept in the abyss of his heart. He would never give you a confession. But that wasn't the death of him. That's what we call rock bottom. His death came from watching his father die, although God told him, don't worry, I got him. His grandmother and grandfather followed. His friend with a sneer on his face. You could have saved your family from dying. What a disgrace. Nothing productive came from your existence. You don't deserve to live. Just take your last breath already and maybe the world will forgive. His body just lying there with blood seeping from his body to the floor. A cement ceiling is what he stares at. Done is the war. Then this man hears a voice that moves him. Uncontrollably he rises to his feet. He was able to walk again. A modern Lazarus miracle is complete. This man is learning about this voice, a voice that saved his life. He seeks to gain more wisdom. Persistence is his wife. Never looking at his past again and refusing to ever fall in defeat, the voice highlights his past and then presses delete. But there's so much more to this man's life, but all that matters is that now he's free. He will always thank Jesus for saving him from death. And as you might have guessed it, this man is me. The next one I want to share is something that actually was the last one that I've written. This is something I think that we all lack. We lack this as a nation. We lack this towards each other in relationships, friendships, strangers, and even towards ourselves sometimes. So I leave you with this. Love, the autobiography. The term love has been used so loosely in our culture that essentially the value and meaning is faded. It has been perverted to the extent that love has become its worst enemy and now is progressively hated. People seek a love that can be defined with the deaf listening to the blind, because there was one that loved himself so much that he is the cause and the confusion of mankind. And there's so many with this void, this yearning to be able to feel true love. One might say it's something only seen in movies or something that can only be dreamt of. They search for love in money, alcohol, food, drugs, and sex because it temporarily fills a want. This want then becomes an addiction, which disguises itself so nonchalant. It's heartbreaking to know that the reason this void exists is because we have people themselves that don't know what true love is. These are the people that will make you feel degraded, put you down, and hurt you in one way or another. And as time passes by, you become so numb to the abuse that your flesh becomes your surrogate mother. An experience so dark and ill-natured that turns love into pride, which in turn changes pride into hatred. We commonly see this behavior exhibited when we talk about homicides. But let's take a minute to understand why love is so incessantly sought. See, we were with a desire to love and a need to be loved before we were conditioned and taught. An emotion that causes joy, peace, and change in behavior. The feeling itself indescribably perfect as it winds and binds itself around the heart's equator. Once this emotion is felt, you grasp onto it as if for your last breath. And though many know, few will experience the fact that love doesn't experience death. So let me tell you what love is. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love is more than just words. It's not one noun, but multiple verbs. But some are so stuck in their ways, I think it's time they cut their umbilical cords. Now let's look back at history for a second. What has been the greatest love action of all? A man that took upon himself the sin, the death of every generation, so that those that believed in him would be able to avoid their downfall. Love. Love is when you see that humanity you created hates you and despise you, but out of your great mercy, you sacrificed your own son, knowing that there's going to be generations of controversy. Jesus' love demonstrated in every way. You can't have true love without Jesus. It's black and white, no room for the gray. Now, what kind of man would just take insults, thorns on his head, a spear on his side, a cat of 9 tails on his back, and treat it so unjust? Because we're so worthless, but yet he saw so much worth in us. So is it fair to say that you're not loved when your first and last love has always been waiting? If the answer is yes, well then it's also fair to say that you haven't experienced true love because you've been procrastinating. And ultimately it comes down to this. Everything that comes with true love can either be accepted or dismissed. If you choose to accept this love, I welcome you to be part of this autobiography where equality, theology, and psychology unite to create the most cliched anomaly. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, Fuego.